but there's this emerging technology that they want to capitalize on. First people to get on Facebook and start, leveraging Facebook for their ads or social media, they won. I think with businesses today, they've seen so much in the world, how technology has just pushed them, that they don't want to miss the boat. They missed the boat from phone books to internet. From the beginning days of SEO, they missed the 1 and 2 cent searches on ad searches like that. Like, they missed the boat on so many things that a lot of these businesses are hearing, hey, I'm spending $5,000-$10,000 on SEO or $1,000 on SEO. Somebody's telling me it's dead. I'm hearing this AI. Do I need to pull budget? Do I need to go over here?
Hey, today we are doing the Summit High Ground podcast today, and we have the regulars in here. We got Zach Huffman and Todd Hageman, and then myself, Joe Flammer. And a question that I've been hearing a lot lately, something I wanted to kick around with these guys, because I know that for a lot of business owners, it's something that is really confusing right now. So much is changing with the world, with the way that marketing is done, with where leads are coming from. And one thing that I've heard and I've seen really catchy media campaigns and marketing campaigns and social media posts about recently is that SEO is dead. So if you're not familiar with that, if you're new to the whole marketing thing, or you just have somebody like us, or if we're the ones who are just taking care of your marketing, SEO is search engine optimization. So that is, how do you make your website, your digital presence really comply with the way that Google or the other search engines have set up the internet so that you show up. So when somebody does a search for whatever service you're providing, you come up in the top, people click on you, call you, set up an appointment with you, and spend money with you. All right. So that is what SEO is. There's lots of nuances that Zach understands really a whole lot better than I do. And Todd understands a whole lot better than I do. But my question is whether or not SEO is dead, like these campaigns start. So we're jumping right in. Big dogs, what do you guys think? I mean, have you been hearing this? Have you been hearing this buzz? Have your clients been asking you about it?
Yeah, I mean, this is my 8th year in SEO world, and this is the same question that's been asked since year 1. And like, this is the worst part about marketing and marketers in general, is grabbing the headlines. It is ridiculous to think that SEO is dead. Is SEO different? Sure. Dead? Not even close. And so, in having these conversations, I did a little bit of research. I was like, all right. And every time I hear this, and I'm kind of like, oh man, is it dead? And it's such a core part of the services that we offer at our company. It definitely stops me on my tracks, and it's like, all right, what else has changed? Number one, I've heard it every year, multiple times a year for the last 8 years, and talking with some industry experts that have been 10, 15, 20 years in the SEO world. It's always something. SEO is no longer working. It's dead. Algorithms are changing, but I did a search on Google, right? I did a Google search, and first thing that popped up was a Reddit thread, and I started reading the Reddit thread. I like, I like that as a platform to take a look at. And this question, is SEO dead, has been reposted in the Is SEO Dead Reddit thread every day for the last 6 years. So every day it gets reposted and re-added in this thread, and hundreds of people give their take. When you distill that, there's definitely people that are like, SEO is dead. There's a lot of people, I would be in that camp. No, it's not dead. It's just different. And if you know anything about SEO, it's different every single day. There's an algorithm change. The SERPs page shakes up. There's new competitors coming in. It wasn't just AI, and today we'll talk probably a lot about AI, but it used to be SEO's dead because people are spending more time on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Before AI even existed, that was the reason the question was asked. So
Whole other
I guess
topics that I'd love to get into.
SEO, we manage lots of SEO programs. We study it. We get notified of all the algorithm changes. We're looking at it every day. We're selling it every day. We have not. I'm not ready to declare that SEO is dead, and I don't think it will ever die. Will it be different? Of course, history tells us it's going to be different.
So define different. What does that mean? And Todd, I'll ask you too. I mean, different can mean lots of things, right? I can say, you could break up with your girlfriend and say, no, our relationship is over. It's just different, right? Like, yeah, it's pretty much over. What do you mean? Is it different as in it's less? Is it used in a completely different method but has a similar result? Like what does that mean?
The first thing I did, okay, I think this one's pointed at me. The first thing I did was say, what's the definition of SEO?
Yeah.
Like let's be very clear what that is, and it's optimized content. That's oversimplified, right? It's optimized content that we put in the way of the search engines so they can form an opinion, if you will. They, meaning Google, they can form an opinion of how we should rank. Greatly oversimplified, right? Visual content, written content, back-end coding on websites and such. Has that changed? You guys have heard me for as long as we've known each other, right? For years, I'm a fundamentals guy. Bake it back to what are the fundamentals?
Square the shoulders. Yep.
Yeah, square the shoulders up on this. So, no, Google's business is giving away free search, and now that includes AI overview, right? Is giving away free search so they can sell ads, people to click on the sponsored ads. And the way they have grown to be by far the search engine or the dominant search engine is to give search away for free. But here's the bigger thing. It's a good user experience. That means when somebody comes in, they're querying or asking a question of traditional search query, the bar, or AI, which is a rendered result, is we need to please the searcher. So as search has changed, right? The way that we gather information as information consumers, as that has changed, now greatly exacerbated or changed by AI, have the fundamentals of Google's desire to monetize Google changed. No chance. And so what we're talking about is we need to feed Google, and SEO is very rich, very alive, and very relevant. And it will be as long as Google interprets a good user experience from finding the best user content and pleasing the people that come to find or that are looking for answers who click on ads.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my brief version, but Zach, to your point, or at least one of your points that you made, when AI got shoved in here, and this is a big rug pull, this is a big wave that broke over the shore, right? This isn't a little roller wave that came in. It was, holy cow, what do we do with this thing that we don't know anything about, and we're still unpacking what that means, right? So people are familiar with the terms, but not how they actually apply. So I guess what I'm trying to say is SEO alive. There was a point in time where I questioned, is this agency even going to be here anymore? And it was within, let's say, the last year. That's pretty close, right? When we started adopting AI competencies that we're utilizing internally and that we're offering, to the businesses that we serve, there was a giant question. Like I said, I didn't talk to you guys about it going, oh my gosh, this is a huge, it's like the backbone of our company is helping people to be found, engineering that, for them, small businesses. And the answer is emphatically no to SEO is not dead. It is, Zach, what you said, being redefined. And we're all over that. and say we talk about it, we're looking and taking it as a company, information daily, if not weekly, we're gathering and saying, what are you seeing?
Yep.
Yep.
And
So
if I can jump in, do we have a minute for me to share my cute little cat analogy with SEO? So
Sure.
this is what I've shared a lot with people who don't understand SEO, because 6 years ago I didn't really understand it, right?
what
And
is it?
so remember in like 1997 when people started getting websites. Zach doesn't remember it. Zach, what year were you born? Come on.
I was born in 96.
96. So you don't remember much. All right. So in 1997, I remember going on the school bus in Rocky Point, New York, and telling my friends about these things called chat rooms. Zach, you probably don't remember those either. They're like these online forums where you can go and talk to other people in real time, and telling people about it. And they said, baloney, that's not real. That thing doesn't exist. You can't talk to people on a computer, right? So this is 1997. And then people started getting their cute Dell computers in a box that looked like a cow, all this stuff. So they get their computers, and everybody had like their Aunt Thelma, who got a computer, and she had a lot of extra time on her hands. She got dial-up internet and thought, oh, I'm going to create, I'll put on my New York accent, like my aunts all had, but I'm going to create a website about my little kitten and my dog. So I'll make it about my Pomeranian puppy, Bruce, right? So she creates this website with on GeoCities or something, where it has moving wallpaper in the background of a dog going like this, right? And they were so ugly. Everybody had one of these. And so she put up a post about her Pomeranian dog, Bruce, right? And about what kind of food he likes and where he goes to the vet and when they go to the park. And then she put up another one the next day. And then it was like 6 months later, she put up another page or like a blog about it or something. Then it was like 3 months later, she did it again, and then she forgot all about it. It was like a cute little side quest for her. That still exists on the internet someplace, right? And if I go on today in Kansas City and I'm looking for dog food for my dog, and I type into my browser, type into my search engine, dog food for my dog. What's the best dog food? Where can I get dog food for my dog? And it takes me to my Aunt Thelma's website on GeoCities that she made in 1997 and hasn't interacted with since 1998. I'm going to say this is a waste of time. Why in the world would I do this? So what Google and the search engines are looking for is who has content related to dogs, who has content related to dog foods, how relevant is it? And so how many people are interacting with it? How many people see this website as being relevant to them? How many people are going to actually take an action based on this? How often is that website being updated, interacted with, made faster, made to look better, streamlined? And Google sees all those things, and Bing, and they look at these things and say, oh, that's the most relevant. And the more relevant it is, the more people are going to use our search engine, and then more advertisers are going to pay us money, and we're going to make more money. So we want a really relevant search experience. And that's what SEO is. To kind of in layman's terms, what it looks like. And if you play by their rules, that's SEO, search engine optimization. You're optimizing their search engine, you're optimizing your site, and they want to point people in your direction. Ask Jeeves, which you probably also don't remember, Zach, was a search engine for a hot minute in 1998. And I think they probably didn't prioritize like this. There wasn't a clear rule for SEO, so they went the way of the dinosaur. So that's my cute little story. I used a dog instead of a cat today, but
Well, I didn't have an Aunt Thelma
story.
that created a website, but I definitely have some people on Facebook who have specific pages for their dog, which is always a little weird. Making posts. And it's like that's a prime example. It's just different, right? People are just doing different things. But that doesn't necessarily mean that websites are dead, right? And like we just said, websites are dead because Aunt Thelma stopped creating Pomeranian posts. No, Aunt Thelma just went to Facebook and started posting on that in that type of forum. So, prime example of it being different. I think when people grab these headlines, you should really be weary trusting anybody that calls anything dead. Like SEO, I mean, at some point down the road, probably be old and retired by this point. Somebody's going to say something as ridiculous to say as like AI is dead, right? Social media is dead. Websites are dead. And anytime you hear that, you should kind of be a little bit weary of trusting them. Because I don't think anything's truly died in marketing. I mean, there's probably somebody that says billboards died. Everywhere I drive, there's a billboard, and it's probably doing a dang good job at marketing that business in some capacity, right?
They're digital now.
Yeah.
Little caveat, right? Now you drive by the same billboard and it's different. It changed. I think that was the word that you guys said earlier, right? It's different.
You don't innovate on dead things. Right?
Yeah, and
Like,
I hear dead and I hear that's an absolute term and it's not thought out. It's what it is. It's an exaggeration. So it means it's not true,
So if it's
right?
not, right, and we have some SEO powerhouses on this, then why are people saying it, right? I think one thing that I'm hearing is, and that makes sense to me, is it's clickbait. To say SEO is dead, people who know kind of what SEO is are I'm interested in that. But is there any truth to it, right? Of course, if I'm just watching this podcast, say, yeah, three guys who sell SEO are going to say that SEO isn't dead. But Black Hat, why is there any truth to it? And you said it's different. Could you convince somebody the other side and say, oh well, you shouldn't even worry about SEO anymore?
yeah,
What are your
I
thoughts
mean,
on that?
those people are stupid.
That's a
Like,
quote of the day.
That's
right?
misleading. Yeah,
Like, great.
bit.
We sell SEO. We also sell a lot of other things other than SEO, right? We sell ads. Has no bearing whatsoever on SEO. We build websites. We do listings, reviews, social media, right? And so,
No AI.
I mean, with the AI, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
lots of different AI. And so, why are they saying that? Is because there is a time. So, like, I'll give you some examples of how SEO is alive and well. All right.
Great.
And so, typically, where this is stemming from, in like this exact moment, why they're saying it is they want to sell you something. Previously, it was social media. SEO is dead. So, buy our social media. That's where attention is.
Yeah.
Nobody disputes that. Now it's not social media, it's replaced with AI, right? And us on this screen, as well as many of the listeners that are listening, are using AI in some capacity, right? If we were abandoning Google, we would see a very large shift in terms of the numbers of searches or the percentage of market share worldwide. And Google still has 90% contains 90% of all searches. Right. And to quantify this, Google is processing trillions of searches. So they don't release this data, but it has been long discussed by Neil Patel and NP Digital and HubSpot, some real powerhouses in the industry. Trillions of searches. There are not trillions of searches happening in ChatGPT, in Perplexity, in Claude, in Gemini. It's a percentage, sure. But it still can't hold a candle to the number of searches that Google is processing on a daily basis. And if that were the case, just look to your own consumer behavior. Joe, you use AI. Have you completely abandoned using Google?
No.
Todd?
Nope. Use both.
Yep. Use both for different reasons. And so it's clear that people are still widely using Google. for specific things, but people are still using social media. So if you can paint the same lens as like, we no longer need to go to social media because we have AI. So social media is dead. So when you're looking at this, it's really important to understand intent. Okay. Like, what are you searching? You may go to AI and say, hey, can you tell me what indifferent means? Like, can you just give me like a dictionary definition of this word? Great. You just might not go to Google for that search. But when it comes to transactional intent, Google is still the primary source. Will it dwindle in the future? Sure. But it's less, it hasn't been determined yet that people are going to ChatGPT and trying to buy things or get home service recommendations from Google without also running it through a Google lens, right? And so when it comes to transactional and where we focus and helping home service businesses get leads and get found on the internet, sure, you can do that in AI, but it's not at a high enough percentage that you should be abandoning SEO and putting all your eggs in the AI basket, which is why we've always taken the stance of being holistic. And that's another silly thing that I think people do in their business. And it's not, it's just because they're not educated enough. And that's not their fault, right? Which is why we do this podcast and why we try to impact as many small businesses, provide them education, is don't ever put all your eggs in the SEO basket. Don't ever put your eggs in the Google search ads basket or social basket. Diversify, because the people that do that, no matter what service or what your marketing strategy is, little tweaks, little changes to algorithms can drastically disrupt your business. And I think that is what some people have maybe experienced that are maybe jumping on the SEO's dead train, is they just put all their eggs in one basket. And a little tiny shift in user behavior can mean maybe 100 less people coming to the site. So holistic approach, diversify, do as many things as you possibly can within your marketing strategy, because there's awareness, there's an abundance of attention out there.
Yeah, one thing that I've seen is sometimes I've had business owners come to me and say, "Hey, should I abandon my SEO? Is it's not working because I heard somebody say it's not working? Should we just give up on this?" And sometimes people really jump on that, right? And they're like, "Yeah, I need to get off SEO." Todd, you've had, this is your third company, I think, at Summit, and SEO probably hasn't even been around the whole time in the form that it is now, since your other business days and everything. But you understand a lot about leadership. You understand a lot about an entrepreneurship. And what is it, do you think, that makes so many people just willing to quickly write off SEO when it's not producing instant results?
Yeah, great question. What I thought about this earlier, appreciate prompting this again, is in our world, and hopefully through the value that we're providing through this podcast, is people are looking for answers. And in the absence of that, there's generally some sort of panic. There's some level of discomfort to clear out a flat out panic. And the louder voices are the absolute ones, which all, every, always, that is a run from it prompt, right? So I'm contextualizing, Jeffrey. The answer is we talk to business owners or people that are talking to business owners, and we have informed decisions. We've been at this for a long time. It's not all, every, and always. I mean, honestly, that's an immediate discount. What I have learned in time is discount meaning you need to go away, right?
Yeah.
That's an exaggeration, so it's not true. So I think what we can get caught up in as business owners, as just individuals, as just people, is we're putting it out in form of an objection. SEO is dead, and that's really a question. And so I mentioned that to somebody this morning. Is that a question, or are you trying to tell me something? And I think that's a big point right there, right? It was, no, I'm really wondering what's your perspective on that? And you can see almost always it's, yeah, I'm trying to get an answer to something. And that's where we roll at big time as a consultative. We take the consultative approach, saying, what is that a question? And then here's our honest feedback. We're very studied, learned, and deliberate about this. And I would caution you, be open-minded, look for new strategies. AI specifically is causing an evolution or a big shift, and Google
Mhm.
is still right in the middle of it, but we're watching it like a hawk. Your job as a plumber, as a roofer, as an HVAC contractor, that's commands your attention.
Yeah.
We're the guides. What we do, right? The impact of AI commands our attention. So I hope I've answered this. Look for, things in forms of questions and then answer those in honest, objective feedback. We're doing the best that we can. We're diligent about it. This is what we're seeing 1 inch in front of our nose. Not, I don't have any information. And I don't know. It's dead. That's what people are telling me. The wrong people are telling you that. That's bad business advice, right? So I thought about this when I was listening to Zach. Is this is a little bit before you guys? I'm so studied and learned on why Google ranks what it ranks, how it gives priority to content, and it has been that way for years. Summit's 23 years old. We're 12, 14, probably 14 years in the digital space, and it was, how do we gain credibility with Google is a 14-year-old question that I've been focusing on. So when Zach said earlier that SEO changes every day, well, generally there's 20 to as many as 26 algorithm changes within a 30-day period is not uncommon by Google. But they're only changing little tweaks. So what do we know is fundamentally sound is rich, relevant content that provides a good user experience. What SEO is about providing content that engages people. It stops them and engages them. That's what Google gives value to. And until they change their entire business model, SEO or AI is simply a disruption, but it's much
Mhm.
bigger than others, right? It is emphatically not dead unless Google changes its business model.
Well, and I'm
Yeah.
seeing, and Zach, I know you are too. Just this morning, I had a call with one of our clients, business owner, and they own two businesses. One big, they're investing heavily in the marketing and paying great dividends. Just talked to them last week. They said, hey, getting more phone calls than ever before. This is great for this business. But then they have a smaller business. It's kind of ancillary. They bought that. Um, they're kind of on a baby program with us, not really an SEO program. And they said, hey, we're getting fewer calls. I think we're on the second page now. What's going on? So we dug into it today, sharing screens and everything. And in I saw with there was a new way that they're showing up, right? A big attention to paid ads.
Hmm.
And so there were 8 businesses listed on the main page that were sponsored map pack ads. So what we would call the Google business profile. The top 8 were all sponsored. It just had one little thing that said sponsored search results. That's a different way than I've ever seen it before. And we do this how many times a day, right? For as in our business. So it was something new. Google's probably experimenting. It's probably not the same in every market, not the same in every vertical, but it was something today for this one. Underneath it, the SEO results, they were number 1 in the map pack results, number 1 in organic listings for their website. So still coming up big. When I went, this was super interesting to me. When I went, this is on Google, to AI results, or the AI summary, they were still number 1 in the AI summary
Wow.
with the SEO. So there's something there as Google is trying to figure out how to monetize. There's AI search, there's regular organic search, there's paid search. And so for them, we said, hey, seems like we're doing actually pretty well on the SEO, the baby SEO program that you had. We need to look at some paid stuff because that's what's changing right now with this. But it affected everything, kind of going down a different road, but how the SEO is still playing a main factor when it comes to AI. And then paid is what I think Google is experimenting so much with right now.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% right. And, we try to look
Very
at these things like from first principles always. It really boils down to first principles every single time. So if you want to talk about AI being the case, SEO is dying because of AI models, and people are going to large language models in order to do that. But these AI models, they need data to exist. And where do they get that data? Well, they get that from training sets, which come from the web, come from websites on the internet, and then active searchers, and more recently, active web searches that they perform when we ask them something beyond the training data. So, like when we're using ChatGPT and we ask a question, "Hey, go do me some research," it's learning based off of the websites that it goes out and crawls and gathers information to provide an output to us. So the demand for discoverable online content is not disappearing. And if anything, it's going to explode exponentially because these AI models, as they've released, it was really big in the headlines that ChatGPT model number 5, GPT-5, got a lot of stir because it wasn't a ginormous leap like we saw from 3 to 4. And 4 to 5 was kind of under the radar. Well, it just needs more and more and more data so that it can have these exponential gains. And so, yeah, I think that's my point. Demand for discoverable content online is very important to AI models, and in very similar ways that the AI is historically, and I've tried to go back and study, SEO and a period where I wasn't in SEO to get a broader context and picture of what changes have happened. Google exists differently today than they used to exist. And why is Google trusted? Google's trusted because they provided you the answer to your question with accuracy for so long. AI is going through the same kind of learning period. If you were to use any AI system and you have an inkling of lack of trust in the answer that it's provided, you will exit and go to a different AI or revert back to your old ways, which would be Google search. And so right now, AI is trying to figure out how to provide the best answer to the best question. And it's generative. So we always want to remember that's generative, meaning that the AI right now is picking and choosing words from its training data in a best guessing methodology. It's actually not smart. It just knows how to place words together based on the prompt that you've provided to provide a roughly and most of the time accurate answer. But it's not thinking this way. It's not. We have not had AI that is truly agentic that knows what it's saying. It's placing words that it's got from its training data in a way that makes sense for human language to its best degree, right? And so, yeah, websites are still getting actively searched, and having a good website and doing SEO is the way that you're going to show up in these models.
Boom.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I think it's huge. I think we do need to continue, and especially right now, asking these questions. How are things changing? Because everything's changing, and we don't want to be left behind. And we don't want our clients to be left behind while things are happening all the time. Because right now, I appreciate, Zach, you used the term first principles. I'm really smart, so I know what it means, but pretend for a second that I didn't. Well, what do you mean by first principles when you're talking about this?
Yeah, I just bake it down to common sense, right? There's like innate things that you know, right? Just like we know good and bad, you really naturally don't need to know what good and bad is. And so first principles is just stripping every nuance out, and thinking in that way, like getting to the root cause of the problem, and building up from there. So strip it down. That's how I internalize first principles. I'm not a Webster dictionary. You probably heard me say that a lot. But that's how I internalize what first principle thinking is common sense and stripping things down to common sense without nuance.
Sure.
Cool. Well said. It's called deductive reasoning, by the way, right? And when I use, again, I referenced this earlier, is I'm a fundamentals guys. That's not the same as what you said. Fundamentals are foundationally secure. They're things that are moving through points of evolution that are still concrete, that we build our thinking on. And then in the business world, is what we're banking on, what we're betting on when we're investing back into our thinking and all of the expenses that need to support the ability to provide services and products to people. But deductive reasoning, first principles, and foundation, they're similar, but they're not the same if you're picking up what I'm putting down.
The most basic foundational truths or assumptions about a subject that cannot be
Got it.
deduced from anything else. There's your Webster Dictionary version of first principles.
Read that one more time, please.
The most basic foundational truths or assumptions about a subject that cannot be deduced from anything else.
Foundational truths. So
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, what you put your dollar on outside of entertainment, though, if you're investing that dollar, you want to know what you're putting it in, and you're expecting some sort of positive return beyond the dollar. Did I get that right? SEO is not dead. It's a fundamental core principle of being found in search. If businesses want that, we have to know how to do that. And we do the homework to make sure that we know.
Yeah.
Businesses don't. And that's why our primary value is to advocate, to act on behalf, to affect positive change for businesses
So
that are focused on this, right?
what data would you point people to somebody said, hey, but really, I heard this guy and he said SEO is dead.
So much.
Prove it to me, right? Prove me what, and you had 5 minutes to show them or tell them about it. What would you say? You don't have to use the whole 5 minutes.
Yeah. So this is what I would say. Consumer, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, do you value experience? Yeah. I want to call somebody that I trust, that has experience. I don't want to hire a first-time plumber. I want somebody that knows the problem, knows how to fix the problem. So I want them to have experience, firsthand knowledge and practical understanding of a topic. Okay. Then I would ask the same question. I'd say, do you value expertise? Okay. Deep knowledge or skill, right? So you might have experience and then they have expertise. So through their qualifications, through real life encounters, testimonials, case studies, they have an expertise in a topic. Answer would probably be yes, I do value experience and expertise. Do you value authoritativeness? Somebody's reputation, they're a reliable source, they're trustworthy. Do you have a general perception of leadership? Do you value authoritativeness? Yeah, I value authoritativeness. Awesome. Last question for you. Do you value trustworthiness?
There it is.
That what they're providing to you is safe, accurate, and transparent. They have clear policies, contact information, and a known track record of accurate information, right? So experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. That actually gets condensed down into an acronym that Google search. It's a Google search acronym, which is EAT, EEAT. Okay. Those are the same things that you as a consumer, because we're catering to you, AI is catering to you, As soon as ChatGPT is not providing you answers that you trust, you're not going to use it. You're going to go somewhere else. Therefore, they're losing money. You know, money rules everything around me.
Dollar bill, y'all.
And so, those would be the questions that I would ask. And if you value those things, then you have to, through your website content on your website and anywhere pretty much on the internet, you as a customer need to show your experience through written word, you have to show your expertise, you have to show your authoritativeness, and you have to show your trustworthiness. And AI, when they're using that data, they're going to take into consideration those factors right now. That's what we know right now. AI may come up with their own factors. But if you had me to convince somebody, those would be the things I ask. And I say, content on your website is extremely important because AI does not produce anything without having data to back up the claims.
You got a reputation matters, man. I couldn't have said that better myself. That was a fantastic answer. You line up 10 people, and they're going to have and say, hey, tell me about Joe. And there's some people that are going to say, what's his name again? And other people who have experience and have a depth of knowledge of Joe. That means the value that you bring to the conversation or to the relationship, right? So those 10 different ones are different frames of reference from good, good and complete, right? Incredible to not so much at all. And really that's, as we're pulling this topic together, it's what does your footprint look like online? What's your reputation with Google? So when you please them, they tell them the story, right? They need to provide a good user experience to the people that are looking for answers to their questions. Who are you in the eyes of Google? What's your reputation look like? And that's a separate conversation altogether. There's many variables, 7 primary that we know that includes social reviews, structured data on websites and such. It gets complex, but our job is to make that simple. And I really like the last 5 minutes of what I've been hearing here to pull things together for the folks that are listening. And our desire to advocate and to be healthy or helpful for them is, what does your footprint look like online? What's your reputation look like with Google? So you win favor in search, so you can be found by Google. And Google puts you in front of people that know what their problem is. They know what the questions are. They just don't know the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And how, right? Is Google going to say, that's a great guy or that's a great gal? We're going to promote them and put them over here to solve that problem.
Yeah.
Reputation.
I think that's what people are wanting right now when they hear SEO is dead. There's putting lots of money into it. It just causes a stir. They look for education. We aim to provide that education through this podcast to the listeners on, just our take from working in SEO, monitoring. We've done probably more monitoring of SEO campaigns in the last year. I mean, we're looking at every single campaign multiple times a week just because all of these inputs are happening at such a rapid pace. Google's messing with pulling the rug out from underneath businesses and different things. And really what I think people are looking for is they know AI exists. They maybe can hear SEO is not dead, but there's this emerging technology that they want to capitalize on. The first people to jump, right? We've seen it. First businesses to get on Facebook and start, leveraging Facebook for their ads or social media. They won. And I think with businesses today, they've seen so much in the world, how technology has just pushed them that they don't want to miss the boat. They missed the boat from phone books to internet, from the beginning days of SEO. They missed the 1 and 2 cent searches on ad searches like that. Like they missed the boat on so many things that a lot of these businesses are hearing, hey, I'm spending $5,000-$10,000 on SEO or $1,000 on SEO. Somebody's telling me it's dead. I'm hearing this AI. Do I need to pull budget? Do I need to go over here? Right. And so to wrap this up, the last thing that I say is like, here's a few part strategy to dominate AI search. Okay. So if you want to dominate AI search and you want to pull some budget from SEO or anywhere else to kind of focus on AI search, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, so on and so forth, just like traditional SEO, it starts with content.
Yep.
Having content on your website that the search engines, Google, and the AI can index. You're kind of double dipping here, which is great for your spend. And then if you prompt the AI, you need to be able to allow the AI access to your website in order to understand, read, and index that information that exists on your website. So content has been king and is continuing to be king. Why? Because data matters. And AI needs a lot of data. So continue to do your SEO. If you pull your SEO and you stop delivering content to your website, you have no shot at dominating AI search. Okay. Other thing to take into consideration when we talk about authority, right? When we talk about authority, it's really interesting how AI has done. So the OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, has signed licensing deals with major news publishers and platforms. Okay. So Shutterstock, Vox Media, Associated Press, they're buying licensing deals because these companies have lots of data. And they're like, hey, we'll buy your data so we can train our AI. So if you're listed, if you're a business, this is like a PR, a digital branding play. If you're listed on Associated Press, that holds a lot of weight because that's baked into the natural training data of AI, not just its searched data. So there's kind of a resurgence of PR if you really want to dominate AI. Find, ChatGPT is the most used one. It's most popular, most recognizable. They kind of set this stuff into motion. So take a look at who they're partnering with and see if you can get listed on their websites. Because if you can get listed on those websites and that data is then baked into the natural training data of the AI has a tremendous amount of trust and authority to Reddit and Vox and all these different places. You're going to show up more in those types of searches. Ranking well in traditional search engines still matter. Okay, AI, when you do a search, it's not going all the way to the 100th page. Can it? Sure. But it's going to do a traditional search. It's going to look at the top people. Quality backlinks still matter. Topical authority in your niche is more important than ever. I guess what am I trying to say is, yeah, that's the different part. There's some new practices, some new ways to think. But by doing SEO right, correctly, it will position you to start showing up in those AI searches so that you don't feel like you're going to miss the boat as this shift to AI search continues to trend upwards. That's it.
Okay.
I have a lot to say on the topic, obviously.
You are a studied and learned guy for sure. Good stuff.
So in summary, the answer is yes, AI is or SEO is dead.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
No. Emphatically not. Emphatically. The emphasis.
I was starting to turn red and get smoke out the ears.
Well, a little bit passionate about it, guys. A word that we haven't touched on today in the wind down, right, is conversions matter more than ever. Structured quality content provides the opportunity to have a good reputation with Google to rank in AI overview and in search. Emphatically, no, SEO is more relevant than ever. It's more technical than ever, right? And it needs to be FAQ based. but good, structured, engaging content that makes Google perk up, provide the opportunity to be seen, to stop the searcher and provide a good user experience to them. That's it. That's the circle of life, right? So no, it's not dead.
Okay. Okay. Anything last on this topic?
Bring us home.
Okay. Well, I think we got a lot. I think it's always worth looking at. One thing that I've noticed in the last few years is that, from my perspective, the cost dollar effectiveness of SEO, I would say, has grown. Because Google Ads used to be cheap. Hey, let's just do a Google Ads campaign. It's like $3 per click. We're fine. We'll just do that, get all the customers you want. When the cost per click has gone up to $18 for the same click, SEO becomes a lot more valuable, and it's a lot more worthwhile to invest in it. But on kind of last question, changing topics, finishing out the day. I don't know if you saw the disturbing news about Robert Redford passing away yesterday. Great actor. Zach, you might not remember him, but wanted to end with asking, hey, what's your favorite Robert Redford flick?
Ooh.
Zach, do you even know who Robert Redford is?
No, it must not be that.
Wait a minute.
R.I.P. I've never once heard of him. I'm looking at his IMDb.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That was maybe when you were in high school.
Worst movie in Marvel universe. Any of the Captain America movies are terrible. Worst waste of my time of all time. That's my hot take.
Oh man, he's in so many good movies. I'm gonna go Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh, good one, Butch Cassidy.
Oh, these are classics.
Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, man. This is. Ooh. Robert Redford, dude.
The only thing that Zach has to say is that he's in the worst Marvel film ever. Okay.
This is what we should be opening with. This is like a long, slow goodbye right now. This is what we should be opening with. 20-something, 40-something, 60-something. That's part of the value that we hope to bring here is the diversity. We just saw it. Yeah, I don't know who Robert Redford is, whatever.
Oh, man. Yeah, also
he was in Charlotte's Web. Used to love that movie. It's great movie. I saw that.
Was he in a Marvel movie?
Oh man, it's so bad.
But yeah.
What's that?
Charlotte's Web better than Captain America.
All right, next time we'll start out with a great, captivating question like this. All right, for now.
All right.
That's the high ground.
Deuces.